So, let me ask you something right from the start. What's the one thing you're holding in your hand or lying right next to you right now? A phone, probably. Maybe it's shiny and new, or maybe it's seen better days and has a few scratches that could tell 1,000 stories. Either way, you're not alone. Across Europe, millions of people are scrolling, texting, filming, and upgrading. And that simple fact is quietly creating one of the most underrated business opportunities of our time, the used phones business. Today, we are going deep. Not just deep, but comfortably deep, like sitting on your couch with a coffee and realizing, wait, I could actually build a business with $0 using phones other people don't even want anymore. Yes, you absolutely can. And by the end of this story, you'll see exactly how. Picture this. It's early morning in Lisbon. The streets smell like roasted coffee and pastel de nata. A young man named Daniel, 26, recently laid off from his marketing job, sits looking at his empty wallet. Rent is due, his savings account balance looks like a phone number missing digits, and is wondering, how can I start a business with literally nothing? That's when his old iPhone 8 vibrates with a notification. Trade-in value, $70. He clicks, then scrolls through a few marketplaces, and then the little light bulb goes off above his head. People are selling used phones everywhere. Some for parts. Some for a quick buck. But he notices something. There's a big difference between what sellers are asking and what buyers are paying. That gap, small to the untrained eye, is what Daniel learns to call opportunity. And that's where your story can begin too. Let's be clear, starting a used phone business doesn't mean you need a huge shop, fancy website, or some tech degree with complicated jargon. It's about connecting the dots in a market that's already running 24 hours a day. The best part? You can start this business literally with $0 if you understand 3 things: knowledge, trust, and timing. So grab your notepad, because we're diving into how everyday people in Europe, students, freelancers, even retired professionals, are flipping used phones, building long-term income, and doing it all from their living rooms. Let's unwrap this business like a brand new box, step by step. First, understand why used phones are such a golden opportunity. Last year, the global smartphone market crossed more than 1 billion sold units. 1 billion. But here's the part that matters to you. Millions of those replaced phones didn't just vanish. They went into drawers, cupboards, or, as one survey said, the forgotten device graveyard. And even when a new phone arrives, the old one often still works perfectly fine. Sometimes it just needs a little cleanup, a reset, a fresh case. In short, people upgrade far faster than technology actually becomes obsolete. It's like replacing a good chair just because a new one has extra wheels. And yet, those old phones have real value, especially when you know where to sell them. That's the crack in the wall where your business can grow roots. Now let's talk strategy, but not in the boring textbook way. Let's make it real, like this. Imagine you start today with 0 cash. You have your own phone and maybe a friend's. You go online to Facebook Marketplace, Vint, or local European platforms like Subito in Italy or Leboncoin in France. You begin by studying the listings, prices, conditions, demand. You notice something interesting. Used iPhones, Samsungs, Xiaomis, all flowing through the same space, but prices vary wildly. One person lists an iPhone X for $80 needing a screen replacement. Another lists the same model for $250 in good condition. There's a $170 difference. That's not just a price gap, that's your first business margin waiting to be realized. But before we run off counting imaginary profits, let's play smart. In any flipping business, the real secret is trust and knowledge. You don't buy blindly. You learn to recognize common faults. You learn to inspect devices before paying. You understand the resale value. It's not gambling, it's informed dealing. And when you start with other people's devices, guess what? You can even begin with no upfront cost. Here's what I mean. Daniel, our Lisbon dreamer, didn't buy phones right away. Instead, he offered a service first. He posted in online community groups, "I help people sell their old phones safely. No fees unless it sells." He'd collect phones, clean them up, photograph them properly, and list them on multiple platforms with honest descriptions. When a phone sold, he took a commission. Sometimes $20, sometimes $50, sometimes $100. And he didn't spend a cent to start, only time, effort, and a bit of charm. Within 2 months, he'd built a mini network. Neighbors, friends, even a local cafe owner trusted him to sell their forgotten phones. That's when Daniel realized he wasn't just selling phones. He was solving the laziness problem. People had phones they didn't want the hassle of selling themselves. He simply connected supply and demand. And where trust meets opportunity, money follows. So, step 1. Learn the phone values and market trends. Step 2. Offer a free listing or selling service. Step 3. Reinvest commissions into buying your first inventory. No fancy words, no magic tricks, just consistent action. Once Daniel made around $800 in commissions, he bought his first 2 phones outright, refurbished them using simple tools, a screwdriver kit, screen protectors, and alcohol wipes, and sold them for double. The feeling of buying something with the money you earned from pure effort, then flipping it for profit, is a quiet form of freedom that no paycheck can match. Now, let's have an honest laugh here. Most people think starting a business requires a dramatic Shark Tank moment. Flashy PowerPoints, business cards, and people shouting words like scalability. In reality, starting can be as unglamorous as wiping fingerprints from a phone screen while sitting in your kitchen. But unglamorous beginnings often make the best stories. Because they're real. Let's talk numbers for a moment. Across Europe, the average used smartphone, depending on brand and age, sells between $100 and $400. The profit margin for a small refurbisher or reseller typically runs around 30 to 60% after repairs and fees. So if you deal just 5 phones a week, you could easily make $300 to $500 in net profit. And as systems improve, that could scale to a few thousand per month. Now, imagine if you trained 2 or 3 helpers, friends, students, cousins, to source phones while you handle listing and distribution. Suddenly, your small hustle turns into a sustainable mini-enterprise. That's the exact point where hobby turns into business. What about the practical stuff? Shipping, buyers, and scams. Yes, we need to talk about that too, because every opportunity wears a seatbelt. Rule 1. Always meet in public places if buying in person. Cafes, train stations, university areas, safe, visible, normal spaces. Rule 2. When selling online, use trusted platforms that protect payments. Rule 3. Be transparent. Integrity isn't just moral, it's profitable long-term. People remember the person who sold them a working phone without lies far longer than they remember the one who gave them a discount but disappeared after the deal. Repeat customers are the hidden gold mine of this business. And here's a pro tip from the veterans. Keep data privacy sacred. Always ensure that devices are properly factory reset, and explain that to clients. It builds instant trust. In some places, even offering a signed handover note saying device wiped and ready for resale makes people feel safe, and safety sells faster than speed. Now, let's visit another story, this time from Claudia in Berlin. Claudia was a single mother who used to work part-time in retail. She couldn't afford to invest, but she had a sharp eye for bargains. During lockdown, she started finding underpriced phones on eBay Kleinanzeigen. Sometimes people just wanted quick cash, moving apartments, changing careers, or simply upgrading. She'd buy one, clean it, maybe replace a broken charging cable, and resell it with new photos and proper wording. Within 6 months, she wasn't just making rent, she was saving. 2 years later, she opened her small online store under a charming name, Second Life Phones. Her logo was a tree growing from an old phone, thriving again, like her life had. It's true what they say, sometimes, financial freedom doesn't begin with funding. It begins with belief. Now the big question, how do you scale this into a stable, predictable business? Here's the easy-to-digest roadmap. Inventory flow. Keep a consistent supply. Once your listings move fast, don't wait to find the next phone. Build relationships with small repair shops, local businesses upgrading staff devices, or schools upgrading tablets. They often sell in batches at low rates. Testing routine. Create a simple checklist. Touchscreen, battery health, camera, calls, and storage. Test everything before listing. Transparency eliminates disputes. Refurb tools. You don't need a lab. A basic toolkit, microfiber wipes, inexpensive screen guards, and plug adapters can transform a phone's look instantly. Listing strategy. Be smart with photos. A phone on a clean white background outshines an ad shot on a messy table. Good presentation equals faster sales. Customer connection. Add value. Include a short thank you card or simple warranty promise like 7 days return if not as described. That builds trust beyond profit. Scaling system. Once consistent, automate with spreadsheets or simple inventory software. Keep records of purchase date, repair cost, sale price, and buyer location. Patterns teach you which models move fastest. Before you know it, you'll be operating a lean mini enterprise with trackable profit, trust-based growth, and virtually no wasted capital. And somewhere between the flipping and cleaning, something beautiful happens. You start changing how you see money. It stops being just an object of stress or scarcity. It becomes a tool, a result of solving small problems thoughtfully. Every phone you refurbish tells a story of resourcefulness, resilience, and reinvention. And yes, that's as real as it sounds. Now, let's address the elephant with a cracked screen in the room: competition. Of course, there's competition. Every valuable industry has it. But remember, competitors can't copy your relationships, your honesty, or your execution. Some dealers chase speed and volume, ignoring customer care. Their profits spike then vanish. You, however, if you combine fair pricing, transparent communication, and consistency, build a reputation that spreads faster than ads ever could. People will say, "Oh, I bought my phone from Anna, she's reliable." That one sentence builds more sustainability than 10,000 sponsored posts. Okay, let's pause for a micro moment of humor. When you tell people you're selling used phones, someone will always joke, "So, you're dealing in second-hand gossip machines?" Yes, exactly. Welcome to the world's most connected gossip economy, except now you get paid for it. A day will come when you're negotiating prices between two listings with one phone in each hand, thinking, "Wow, I've truly become a phone juggler." That's exactly when you'll smile, because realization hits quietly. You turned nothing into something. By the way, this business isn't limited to phones. It naturally expands into accessories, refurbished tablets, or even simple repairs. Once you master one product stream, adding more is easier. But the ethics remain the same: serve, fix, earn. And remember, in Europe especially, sustainability sells. Eco-conscious buyers prefer refurbished items to reduce electronic waste. So your business isn't just about income, it's about impact too. Let's look at some light math again, just to feel the momentum. If in your first month you sell 10 phones at an average profit of $40, that's $400. By month 3, double that output, $800. By month 6, with repeated customers and small bulk deals, hitting $2,000 monthly profit is realistic. Slow, steady, safe. And every cent from those sales reminds you that financial independence isn't theoretical, it's cumulative. And when you reach the point where people start sending you messages like, "Hey, can you find me a good quality iPhone for under $300? That's when you've built marketing without marketing. Your name travels through conversations like a trusted currency. Let's touch on mindset for a moment, because business isn't just about devices, it's about the device inside you, your mentality. When you start from zero, your biggest asset isn't cash. It's creativity. The used phone business sharpens that muscle deeply because you begin spotting value where others see clutter. That vision, finding worth in what's overlooked, stays with you forever. You'll begin thinking differently even outside business. An old bike, a surplus laptop, a vintage jacket. Suddenly, you'll see opportunities everywhere. Used phones are your first training ground for that refurbished way of thinking. Now, speaking of refurbished, let's address the start from $0 part in reality. People often ask, how can I start with zero money? The truth is, zero money doesn't mean zero effort. It means you build equity in forms other than cash, relationships, reputation, knowledge. When you help others sell their devices first, they pay you in both money and trust. You use that to seed your operations. It's the oldest business secret that school never taught. The first capital isn't money, it's momentum. Another quick story before we close. In a small town outside Warsaw, 2 university students, Eric and Lena, started collecting old phones from relatives heading abroad. "Give us your unused phones," they said. "We'll sell them for you and split profit." Within 3 months, they'd sold 43 phones. Half of them needed no repairs, just better listings. Their dorm room looked like a tiny phone factory, cables everywhere, testing screens flickering at 2 a.m. They laughed about being junior tech billionaires in training. But that little project paid their tuition for the semester. Not because they were lucky, but because they decided to believe that small ideas can grow. So what can you take away from all this? Every phone in a drawer is untapped value. Every upgrade cycle is a new opportunity. And every small action you take today can spiral into a bigger tomorrow. No investor. No bank loans. Just you, your mind, your effort, and a belief that you can build something valuable with almost nothing at all. That's financial empowerment in its purest, simplest form. And when the day comes that you're able to look back, from your cozy flat in Madrid, your rented studio in Berlin, or your balcony in Rome, and realize that your freedom started with wiping an old phone clean and selling it, you'll smile quietly. Because the whole thing will feel like magic, but it was never luck. It was courage disguised as curiosity. So, if there's one message to leave you with, it's this. Don't underestimate simple beginnings. The used phone in your drawer might not just call people. It might call your next opportunity. Because financial freedom isn't just about big leaps. It's built through small, smart, consistent steps that lead to confidence. And remember, at Dollar Mind Tricks, we believe that every dollar mined from your creativity counts more than 1,000 borrowed from luck. So go ahead, research, connect, act. Start with zero, grow from wisdom, and earn with heart. Your first sale won't just change your wallet. It'll change how you see wealth forever.
What if the secret to making more money has always been out there, just hidden from you? At Dollar Mind Tricks on Patreon, we share simple, proven pro tricks to boost your income, smart online business ideas, and real strategies that successful people use every day, but rarely talk about. No fluff, no complicated theory, just practical pro tricks and methods that actually work. Join Dollar Mind Tricks on Patreon today and start your journey to real financial freedom.